In this video, Yôjinbo. Hello Warzoners, Alfie here, welcome to the Warzone Chronicles. So as I said in the mini intro, today we're going to be looking at one of the new units for Mishima in the Kirkwood document, as usual. Look for the link over there or in the description. So without further ado, let's take a look at his stats. Yôjinbo. Okay. So starting with his statistics, we can see that his speed is 5, which is, well, standard. Then we have close combat 16, which is pretty good. Then a defense of 2. Okay. Not excellent, but really good. Ranged skill is also 16, which is pretty good, but but his weapon is a template weapon, so he doesn't really need the ranged skill ability. Okay, then we have strength of 11, not bad. Constitution 10, not great. That would be a weak point of his. Then we have willpower 15. Okay. Leadership 15, okay. 3 wounds, not perfect, but 3 wounds will get you far if you can play and play them well. Armor of 25 with impenetrable armor of 10. Size 0, and probably the best part of about him is it's only 60 points. Really. And then in type we see that his character. It's infantry. Hatamoto, okay. He's also a Doom Trooper, which is pretty good because that means that any faction can field him. Okay, unique obviously, and medium base. No deployment options, just regular, but we'll see later. He's equipped with a Death Streaker Screech Gun, 2 Samurai Words, and an Ornate Mishima and Kote power suit. Okay. Now, in this is when things start to get interesting. In his options, we can see that he can be upgraded with up to key powers for free. Okay, so that's 60 points for him, including his 2 key powers. Okay, so that's very interesting. Now, taking a look at his weapons, we can see that the ranged weapon is a Death Streaker Screech Gun, as mentioned previously. So we can see in the range that it's a fire template, so it's a big template. Strength of 3, rate of attack of 1, and it's a psychic type weapon. Okay. Also, the weapon abilities are deadly, which is pretty good, when hitting, those annoying characters and units with heal. And it's also pinning, okay, which always comes in handy when attacking full squads, okay. And close combat weapon, Samurai Sword, 2 of them, but they're exactly the same. So range 1, strength +2, rate of attack 2. And type close combat. Okay, this is very interesting because when he attacks in close combat, he's always going to attack with at least 4 dice. Okay, so that's really good. Now let's take a look at his abilities, which are essentially those of a Hatamoto, but with Lord Maru's will, which means essentially that when he's attached to a Hatamoto squad, he and the Hatamoto gain flank deployment. Okay, which is really interesting, and also range. Then he has paired weapons, CC, so that's what I was saying, earlier. He attacks with 4 dice, 2 for each Samurai Sword. And as Hatamoto, he has Fear, Fearless 3, Ferocity 1, and Frenzy. Okay, and he's also unbreakable. So as you can see, his stats are nothing out of this world, but it's a really handy Wii unit, if you play it all right. Okay, now let's take a look at the conversion. Now about the miniature, he's supposed to look more or less this way. This is the artwork for the first edition of Warzone. You can always go, old school, and you can get the miniature. The old miniature, it's available in several places, eBay and all that. But so for my conversion, I decided to make him look more Hatamoto, really. And so I took a normal Hatamoto, and so I bought Yôjinbo from Infinity, the other Yôjinbo, who is this one that you can see on the screen. And I used his arms and head to transform this into this. So this is my Yôjinbo. As you can see, his body is that of a Hatamoto. Okay, his head, I normally like my heroes to show their faces, to be more able to tell them apart from the normal, troops, the normal squad. Okay, so as you can see, the head is Yôjinbo, is Infinity Yojimbo. The arms are also Infinity Yojimbo. Okay, with the long katana. So I basically, went for a blue and orange, color scheme, similar to that of the original artwork, but changing the red for orange in this case. What I've also done is, I've cloned, the arms of Hatamoto, of a normal Hatamoto, because the arms of the Infinity Yojimbo were not thick enough. They were really skinny, so it made him look a little bit stupid, in that armor. So basically, then I glued them, and for the base, I went for some sort of Zen garden. Okay, with the stones and everything, just using gravel and then a couple of dry brushes. Okay, so that's my conversion. That's an idea, and I hope you find it useful. Okay, so we have created this little scenario. Okay, so this is one of the edges of the table, and the Dark Legion has deployed. Alright, that's within 6 inches of the table edge. Okay, and we have, say for example, a Recede, Necromutants, Legionnaires, etc. etc. Okay, well done. Right, so we'll focus on this little section, okay, which is where we have decided to flank deploy Yôjinbo. Okay, so we can deploy within the enemy's deployment zone. Okay, so this is as far as I can get. Of course, assuming that we had previously chosen this table edge. Okay, so what we're going to do is deploy Yôjinbo. Okay, he has to deploy touching the table edge, so there he goes. And because it's one of his special features, the ability called Lord Maru's Will. When he's attached to a Hatamoto squad, he and the attached squad gain flank deployment and ranger. Okay, so because of that, he deploys with a squad of Hatamoto. Okay, now before let's assume now it's our activation. Okay, obviously now we have deployed, and we activate Yôjinbo. Okay, so having flank deployed, that means that we have a couple of limitations. Okay, the first one being that we only have one action point, and the second one being that it counts as if we have already moved their SP value. Okay, in this case 5 inches. So if I want to attack the Recede, well, I have two options basically. I can attack him with his main weapon, his ranged weapon, which is the Screech gun. Okay, but I prefer to charge. Okay, and what I can do is measuring the distance. Okay, so the Recede is roughly, let's see, at about 6 inches more or less. Okay, one thing that I can do is I can charge for one action point. Okay, so he can charge 5 inches. Okay, so approximately there. more or less. Yeah, okay. And he engages, you know, his close combat weapon range is 1 inch, so that means that I can engage the Receipt. Okay, and because I have charged, now I have, thanks to Frenzy, I have 1 extra rate of attack, and attack with both samurai swords, okay, which means rate of attack of 2 times 2, because I have 2 swords, plus 1 for the charge. And with the charge I also have Ferocity. No problem, I can attack him at full CC. Alright, so Yojimbo's close combat ability is 16. Let's apply modifiers before we roll. Okay, so the Receipt size is 1, so that means 17. Minus his defense, which is 1. Okay, so that's 16. So because I only have 1 action point, because of the flank deployment, if I want to attack, having charged already, I need to spend 1 resource card. Okay, so I burn 1 resource card, and now I can attack. Okay, so 5 rolls, and I have to roll 16 on this. So we have, it's a 20. So 1, 2, 3. 3 successful hits. Okay. Now the damage of the samurai sword is plus 2. Okay. So his strength is 11 plus 2, 13, plus 1 for the ferocity, because I have charged. That's 14. Okay. So now the Receipt has to resist with an armor of 16 minus minus 14, okay, so that's 12, okay, so 3 dice, 12, okay, so, well, a very, very bad roll for the Receipt, right, so no luck for the Receipt, but he still has, you know, by default, heal 2, okay, so he still has a chance, okay, so 8, nope, 11, nope, and 10, no, okay, so none of his skills succeed. Okay, now we have this other scenario, okay, in which we have Imperial Ministry of War. So we have a squad of trenchers. Again, sorry, they're not painted. Okay, so we have Yôjinbo and the Hatamoto having flank deployed. Okay, so here we have the Imperial trenchers. Right, and it's a full squad there. Okay, well covered. Okay, so another thing that we can do with Yôjinbo, well, use the Screech Gun, okay, which is a template weapon. Okay, so again, it's our activation, and we have the same limitations as before. 1 AP, and we can only move 5 inches because it counts as if we have already moved 5 inches, and that's for the flank deployment. Okay, so we can measure the distance, just, you know, perform very, very simply our walk action, okay, and, you know, we don't even need to move the whole 5 inches, okay, just by moving 4, okay, more or less there, okay, and pivoting, we get into position, and we shoot the Screech Gun, okay, which is like a flamer, so that we hit 3 of the trenches. Okay, so the Screech Gun is a psychic, weapon, and it has a strength of 3. Okay, so with that, you know, the trenchers have to try and resist the attack with a willpower of 13, minus 3 for the strength. But the Screech Gun is deadly, and 10. Okay, so let's go for the first trencher. 10, and he's safe. 14, okay, he's dead. Second, 12, okay, he's dead as well. And 18, third one, is also dead. Okay, and that will be Yojimbo's activation. As you can see, it's quite powerful. However, let's not forget that we still have our Hatamoto. Okay, now we can shoot, we can we can try and chart, etc, etc. For the sake of argument, let's take the squad leader, which is this one. So what we can do is, again, you know, without even moving the whole 5 inches, getting into position, and so this Hatamoto moves and can shoot or cast the Haikembura Satō. Okay, other things that we can do is, you know, for example, this other Hatamoto can also move to get line of sight and try to get, you know, him with, and of course, you know, for any action that we want to use, we need to spend a resource card because we only have one. All right, now to finish off, you know, I'd like to come up with some conclusions, you know, and some impressions after having played him in the national tournament. Again, you know, click there to see the video. Okay, so essentially Yôjinbo is a very cheap unit. You know, it's essentially a Hatamoto, you know, but, you know, really strong in close combat, and also, you know, really good at mowing down, you know, squads, you know, with the Screech gun, and also, you know, you can also hit, you know, have a, you know, hit, you know, really powerful units, you know. Say for example, I think the demonstration, you know, you can down a Rasid, you know, in one activation, or you know that sort of, you know, really powerful unit. He is not, you know, he's not good for vehicles. None of his weapons, you know, have armor piercing, so I wouldn't recommend using him against vehicles unless those vehicles, you know, have, you know, really low armor. But you know, essentially, you know, the main power that we have with Yôjinbo is the fact, you know, that he can be equipped with 2 key powers. Normally what I do is, you know, increase his CC and strength, you know, with, you know, those 2 key powers. But, you know, you can add, you know, Haikembura Satō, you know, you can give him the Tikara to make him a good shooter. So it's quite versatile, you know, but essentially, you know, the main idea, you know, about Yôjinbo is, you know, if you have a mission where you can flank deploy, you know, use him with a squad of Hatamoto, because, you know, you can cause a lot of damage, you know, attacking from the flanks. Okay. Well, so that was the video. You know, just, you know, a quick overview on some of the things that you can do with this unit, which, you know, as I said, you know, it's a handy wee bastard, to be honest. He can really boost your army for very little points, and, you know, really enhance your Hatamoto with, you know, flank deployment, which, you know, as you saw in the demonstration, you know, can do a lot of damage in very little time. Okay, and also I'm sure you noticed, you know, the fantastic mat that I have acquired. That was provided by the fantastic, you know, mats that you can find at Warzone Wargames. You know, here's the website where you can take a look at their online shop and see the fantastic range of top quality battle mats, of top quality battle mats. With many designs, you know, top quality, many materials, and, you know, really well priced. So I strongly recommend that you pay them a visit. Alright, and so that was the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. You know, please consider subscribe and hit the notification button, you know, the little bell thing. You know, share, you know, please leave a comment. You know, I'd love a discussion on this unit or any of the units that I have commented, or anything at all that you want. Okay, and until the next video, keep warzoning.